All right, let's see what we got here. Hopefully, you guys should be able to hear me. What's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. Now, essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become mentally and emotionally balanced. Now, the whole idea of helping you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, because only then can you attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, when we're talking about attaining your highest level of consciousness, that's what we call, as a matter of fact, that's what we call becoming Christ like or becoming the Buddha or, um, or anyone who's regarded on that high status. And as you can see, if you learn anything about their history, then you'll see they had to go through trials and tribulations. But most importantly, these men or these people have truly, attained their highest level of self consciousness when it comes to them knowing who they are and understanding our relationship with the divine, if you want to call it that way, or the universe, or with God, whichever one you prefer. But ultimately, it's that level of attainment. That's why they call it enlightened ones. The Illuminati, that's who you are. Well, once you attain that not the bullshit that people are going by, hey, to each his own. But the true Illuminati, that means to be illuminated. You want to be the bright ones, the shiny one, the anointed one. This is all you. However, it has to be, you have to wake up to it. You have to attain that level of consciousness. And that's pretty much where the work comes in. That's pretty much where the unification, or the your emotions and your intellect or your mental has to become in alignment. Because if not, for the most part, as you can imagine, if you, let's just say, if you're depressed, now, this is you dealing with your emotions, not being in your best emotional state. Now, your way, you're not gonna come up with the best idea. Like, what the fuck? In fact, you know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, let's go out there and have fun. That wouldn't be one of the things that you think about. You see what I'm saying? Now, some of us have discernment. I get it. But for the most part, I mean, it's more like you want to shut down the windows, you want to close the door. I mean, you're just not in your best state of mind. I'm saying that to say it's just to show you how impactful your emotions are on your mental. So if they're not coming together, meaning they're not in alignment, you're not gonna have the broadest perspective on any level. That's just not gonna happen. Now, I mean, example of that may not have anything to do, I mean, that has to do with another aspect of your emotions if it's not in balance. If you were actually bit by a dog and you have not faced that fear, or maybe you have not, whatever the fuck, you've been staying away from dogs, well, guess what? I mean, you're not gonna have the best perspective about animals. I mean, it may not be the worst, but I mean, you would need to confront yourself. Maybe what I thought it was, or I was thinking that way because that's how I felt. So then now at this point, you get to realize how vital your emotions are because it determines how you see life. So ironically, a motherfucker who been bit by a dog could look at life from a whole different perspective when it comes to dog, of course, or when it comes to animal. And then here you are, you might be standing right next to the motherfucker. You're like, damn, bro, I got five dogs. You know what I'm saying? What is this dude talking about? Those are my friends. Meanwhile, you taking them out, you know what I'm saying? Well, I'm not sure if you're kissing them or not, whatever the fuck. They waking you up in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's your buddy. That's a whole different life experience and a way of looking at reality as well. So that goes to show you, I'm trying to get you to see how impactful just not you not being in emotionally balanced, but most importantly too, if you're not in tune with your emotions. And in fact, that's exactly what takes place when some people are like very toxic. People become closed off after being bit by a dog or have after, let's just say, having a bad relationship, and people becomes bitter for the most part. It's not always the case. Some of us learn, but the bottom line of what I'm trying to say or what I'm trying to show you here is how impactful that is. But also, this also have a direct connection with the conversation that we're going to be talking about tonight, because to adopt a godlike or Godhead mentality, you know what I'm saying, for you to enhance or improve your life, or for you to elevate, it's a requirement. Because as you can see, if we're going back to that dog example, right? I was bit by a dog, you were not bit by a dog. There's a whole reality that I don't get to enjoy. I don't get to know. I don't really know. Now, I might be, then if I am to open up to, let's just say now, getting more comfortable with dogs, I would have to address that disappointment. I would have to address the time when I got bit by that fucking dog. I mean, again, this is the conversation that we're going to be talking about, because it's all connected too. Because what we're going to be talking about tonight, essentially, and I guess I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I guess, I mean, we're already talking about it. It's adopting that God mentality when we're talking about your inner vision, looking at reality from a different perspective. But for you, that's why for you to attain your highest level of consciousness, I mean, for me to experience the best thing out of life or to have a good experience with fucking animals, I can't just, what I'm saying? I can't have to go beyond the fact that I was bit by a fucking dog. I got to go beyond that. If not, then I'm going to have a one sided perspective. And I'm pretty sure even yourself, even which if you let's just say if you have a few dogs, right? You've been bit by a dog before, because I had dogs. I mean, shit. I mean, I wasn't necessarily referring to me in sense in terms of being bit by a dog, although I was bit by a dog. But I also had a dog that what I'm saying, like, how they play with you. I mean, it ain't really like it was locked in or anything like that, but but you actually feel it. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna play with your dog, nigga, yeah. I mean, unless I don't know what type of dog you got. But making a long story short, I'm saying, although because you open to that reality, of course, and even if you were bit by a dog and now, you having to face that. So this is showing that you are exploring different realities now. There was a reality where you were afraid of him, and then this is another reality now that had you have expended that older reality, you have replaced it and updated it. So I'm saying that to say, damn. Whew. I mean, yes. I'm truly saying we're talking about how impactful your emotions could be, right? Or if you got your heart broken, with your first boyfriend and shit like that, what I'm saying? It turns you into a motherfucking witch. Now you're on your fucking broom. Do you see what I'm saying? And all you had to do, and because pain is going to be a big part of our conversation tonight, too. I think I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but that's how, I guess, involved I was in it, because, shit. I was just partying all last week, man. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, coming back, and it's like, okay, this is what I've been thinking about, right? And I was, deeply involved, and I wanted to share this with you guys. But nevertheless, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. And I'm telling on myself too, like by letting you know this is what's behind this. So, making a long story short, especially if this is your first time, and again, trying to get you to see how important it is for you to become in alignment, because that alignment, I mean, because your emotions have a direct impact on your mental, and so does your mental too. It's vice versa. Now, let's just say you decide to be like, fuck my emotions. I'm gonna be hard. I'm not gonna listen to, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we all listen. I'm pretty sure you heard of when you say such and so, I mean, such and such is being emotional, right? Because we understand, you know, I mean, you just totally neglect logic. That's why you'll see people that are saying, I'm very logical. And, for the most part, people will try to let you know, you want to be logical because for some crazy odd reason, your emotions is always the issue. So now, if you're thinking from a one-sided perspective, meaning now you're becoming more intellect, so it's all logic, then you become very rigid. You become very robotic. The law's the law. That's what it says. Well, shit, nigga. They're all in between in life. So what the fuck? It's not black or white. It's not black or white, man. Life is life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you need to have your logics in point. I'm not saying not to be logical, but to think, logic is what's gonna guide you over here. You out of your fucking mind. In fact, shit, come on, man. No, 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 no. I mean, how do you explain logically? Sometimes you may have some sort of intuition that tells you not to do certain things, and that shit could fucking save your life. What's your logical explanation for that? Are we gonna neglect that? Do you see what I'm saying? And for the most part, when you are too mental or too intellect, you're not in tune with your emotions. You don't give a fuck about other people. Again, you become very fucking robotic. The rules are the rules. You know what I'm saying? But if you're saying the rules are the rules, like, I mean, I okay, perfect example. The law understands if you underage, I mean, there's a certain state of mind that you don't even have yet, right? But saying that, I guess it could be seen more of a mental shit. But the part that I'm addressing here, to even include or even to think about that, it's like you gotta, what I'm saying, you would have to acknowledge other stuff that is not just logical shit. But anyway, making a long story short, either way. you're gonna be imbalanced. And either way, you're not gonna have the broadest, or you're not gonna attain your highest level of consciousness. That's the bottom line. But when both of them come together, or they become in alignment, now your intuition is not against your intellect. Now, if you had a dream, or your intuition is telling you you should do this, you should do that, you should go this route, or then now you use your logic. I mean, you're just not gonna jump just because your intuition tells you to jump. Although, for the most part, that's how it's gonna look like. You know what I'm saying? But there's always because your logic, it's the way you do things, it's the reasoning. You're making it, what I'm saying, you're connecting the dots. So you want to be both emotional and fucking logical. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, when you're too emotional, obviously, because you're not emotionally balanced, but most people look at it from not. I mean, because unfortunately, the misconception in about being emotionally balanced, they think you got to become more mental, and that is not the case. Because whenever you suppress your emotions, I mean, you got a few things coming. That's the baseline for toxicity. In fact, if you go see a shrink, I mean, the very first thing these motherfuckers is, how were you raised? Again, addressing those early emotions that you had, and your logic. You probably were not even logical enough to be in touch with your emotions. Again, there is such a thing as emotional intelligence. It's the logic within your emotion. You see what I'm trying to tell you? You got to be in harmony, and only then can you attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, going back to, just to give you guys a little more details about what I mean when I'm talking about being emotionally balanced, because that was a great statement that I just made. Because being emotionally balanced is, you got to deal with your own emotions. No matter how you try to suppress by not thinking about some shit, this shit's gonna, like, somehow, you know, emerge itself out. And that's the recipe for toxicity, to be honest. So therefore, the key to being emotionally balanced, that has to do with you dealing with your own emotions, and understand the intelligence. Because when you're dealing with your emotions, you're dealing with energy, and energy is intelligent. There's messages in it. There's frequency. There's messages in it. That's why when you hurt, you feel a certain way. Well, I mean, shit. Did you get the message? I mean, however, do you see what I'm saying? However, like, you coming in contact with whatever the fuck, whenever there's conflict, there's always something is changing. So energy in itself, when you're dealing with your emotions, I mean, you have to understand how what your emotions are telling you. And then you would have to understand your emotional pattern. Then now, from what you're hearing, if there's any emotional blockages that your emotions are telling you, then at this point, that's when you deal with it. So when you go see a shrink, or a therapist, that's what you're doing. In the occult, we call it your shadow work. you're working on your shadow self. The self that is not visible, that is in parallel with the physical self that exists. That's why you are both visible and invisible. And in just a minute, I'll be talking about spirituality. That's when, what I'm saying, like, if I'm talking to you about spirituality, somehow, what I'm saying, you don't feel connected to it, or like, like I got 20 heads and shit, that's because you fucking ignorant. Or if spirituality is not a cool topic to talk about, what I'm saying, or it's, what I'm saying, a little more reserved, or somehow I'm not the topic of the day, nigga. This is the fucking topic of the day because it's talking about you. Anything that's not that, it's lesser than you. And it comes out of you, out of ignorance, gossiping, all that shit. All that shit. So again, when we talking about being emotionally balanced, it's not to overpower your emotions. In fact, that is a recipe for toxicity. So that right there. Whenever you do that, it's satisfaction guarantee. It's for show toxicity at all times, and you'll never miss. That's why, what I'm saying, you ought to speak about how you feel because it allows you to, what I'm saying, release yourself, release that energy, calming down, what I'm saying, being, I don't know, a little more expressive or not too rigid. A human being, what I'm saying, perhaps. You know what I'm saying? You motherfucker, like, shit, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Yo, nigga, I know some people that are so ugly or so closed off, even when they smile, they look ugly. It's like, nigga, go back to being mad. Like, you don't even look good, even trying to laugh. You think, what I'm saying? And the purpose is not to look good neither. Like, it's the expression, it's you enjoying yourself, but just I mean, it's the reflection of how closed off they are. It's just to turn off. And that's why you can never fake the funk neither. That's why energy never lies. And to know someone is to know their fucking energy. And again, their essence, which is us, spirit. Thus, when we're talking about spirituality, what are we talking about? That's your life. Anyway, I'll get back to that. Being emotionally balanced, that has to do with, being in touch with your emotions, understanding what's going on, and having, that proper relationship, not suppressing, not that anxiety, not that toxicity, but you can actually sit down and have a conversation. Can you believe that? Right? All right, nigga. Yeah, 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 yeah. I heard you. I mean, shit. The same. You know what I'm saying? It's simple, but it's not easy. And that's also the part of us to, I mean, that's the mentality you will need to adopt. Again, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but this is necessary. That's the type of mentality that you need to adopt to become a Godhead or for you to elevate. It's the mentality when you go to the gym, the harder you lift, the stronger your body gets. Well, guess what? In life, I mean, that same principle happens, man. You know what I'm saying? Your difficulties, your challenges, that's what makes you better. So therefore, you also got to keep in mind, I'm getting way ahead of myself here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. So now, you know, in addition to being mentally balanced, I mean emotionally balanced, I also help you to become mentally balanced. So when we're talking about I mean it's pretty much the same baseline understanding here. It's to delve a little bit deeper into your intellect. You know what I'm saying? Your mind. How does your mind works? You got to understand that. You have to understand how how this what kind of influence does society has on me. Because what you're doing by doing this, it's you claiming your power. This is you taking your responsibility. This is you now understanding what's taking place around you, and now you know how you stand. Or you know how you stand, and therefore you understand how everybody else's stance is out there. That's why, as part of your journey, or as part of your elevation, you have to understand how were you trained to think, because it's not how much you see, it's how you're looking at it. It doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could say all the bullshit that that you fucking want, but if it's a lie, regardless of how you polishing it, it's still gonna be a lie. You understand what I'm saying? In fact, there's a there's a saying that we say, and you probably heard it before. You know, a pig wearing lipstick is still a pig, bro. Like, when you look at a pig and they put on some lipsticks or some makeup, is that not a pig? You know? You just a beautiful dumb pig, man. Or you just okay, but you're still a pig. That's why it doesn't matter. Like I always tell people too, and I always use this type of example because I lived in Haiti and I understand. I used to eat mango and all that shit. Yo, if you got 100 mango, that's not right, and then you have only one. I mean, one ripe mango. Niggas will not even look at it, but it's not ready yet. You can't eat it. Well, doesn't matter. So that's why how you look at things really matters. If you're looking at 100 mango, but you can't eat it, then now you're talking about it, and now I don't know. I mean, are you talking about the future, maybe? Otherwise, for right now, I mean, it ain't doing shit for us, and you can't sell it like that anyway. So again, I'm saying all of that to say, your perspective, you have to take into consideration how you are being trained to think. Because for you to master yourself, you got to become aware of all that shit. Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, you're just a puppet. That's what a puppet is. Average, following the trend. That's the road most traveled. What are we doing? You see what I'm saying? So if that's what you're doing, or if mentally you're not mentally balanced, then you're not gonna go in the kingdom of God. because you're not gonna get to see truly who the fuck you are. Do you see what I'm saying? So again, it's a lot to it. That's when you would have to understand your culture. That's why even, I guess, I'll be talking about spirituality shortly. Your culture, everything you encounter, you don't become, I mean, you become spiritual, but you already that. To become spiritual is to activate that divinity in you. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I mean, because you're already spirit. So that's what makes it your essence. So all you doing is you're not spiritual because you're not in tune, you're not in touch out of ignorance. You only look at yourself from a dick and pussy perspective. And now with that being the case, but hey, I mean shit. You also got to keep in mind how you see the world is how you act. But I'll talk about that later too. If you think money's everything, you do everything for money. But if you think money's not everything, guess what your behavior is going to be like? You're not going to do everything for money, bro. That's just the way it is. That's how you are creating your reality. That's how your God creates your reality. And you acting like your God. So if your God is nature, if your God is love, then you're going to behave as such. There's no way outside of it. And if your God is one minute is love, the next minute is something else, your behavior is going to be that way too. Again, if you think money's everything, you do anything for money. But anyway, we'll talk about that because I want you to keep that in mind too. Because adopting a God mentality, you have to embrace all of that about you. Anyway, let me slow down. I'm feeling hot, babe. You know what I'm saying? Doing some bullshit. But anyway, so as a spiritual healer, I mean, damn, I took you on a journey. But I mean, I guess it was necessary for me to talk about this too, because even in that conversation in itself, if you grasp that, if you understand that, well, listen, I mean, you are well advanced already because now you already identifying other things in you now. And all I did was showing you the regular shit in you. You being depressed, not having the best state of mind, that's your regular shit. That's what you do on a regular basis. I mean, I hope you can relate to it. Or it kind of makes sense. Because I get it. Like, 'cause, when you're toxic, you don't know that you're toxic. So, but it could be used as a mirror for you to seek a couple things. Because I remember for me, oh shit, I didn't know when I started to be conscious that I was raised in a fucking toxic environment. It was on my first psychology class. That was my first year in college, and then they were talking about dysfunctional families. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck is there? Like, I didn't come here for this shit. Who's telling on me? Who's telling on me? So again, that was used as a mirror. So, and all of us spiritual healers, we understand that. So I'm saying all of that to say the shit that I'm reflecting here by using this mirror, it's regular shit. Just like in that class, I was able to like, damn, because it was normal to me. know what I'm saying? When niggas are saying toxic, I'm like shit, yeah, it kind of makes sense. That's why your conscious mind, just like they say, your subconscious mind doesn't know what's reality or what's not, what toxicity or what's not. Now you're gonna understand what's toxic or not with your level of consciousness now. That's the Christ consciousness. That's what you need to erupt. That needs to come out of you. That's the phoenix. That's your transformation. That's becoming the Christ like. That's waking up, the Buddha like, whatever the fuck that is, or whatever term you choose to use. I mean, you choose to use. So again, to become mentally balanced, I mean, and I'm not even talking about. There's so many things that our society issues. You know what I'm saying? Political fucking perspective. Here's another shit that's fucking you up. It's a gang mentality. It's like the system is built to fuck you up pretty much from school and everything else. The agenda is for you not to be who you truly are. So the society is doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. The world, the with the fucking niggas being greedy, motherfuckers killing each other. I mean, it's just that's the design, isn't it not? I'm saying, like, you were, I mean, they were teaching you about love in fucking class. They teaching you about your true nature in class. Help me. Nothing pertaining. I mean, when it comes to your education, is pertaining to you, the invisible side of you, to your true self. That's why we're living in a society. Again, this is by design. It's intentional that you go what you call yourself. It's your self image, but it's not your true self. Meaning, not the way I look or I appear to you, motherfucker. Not, what I'm saying? I'm gonna do what fulfills me in my inside. Or as I like to say it, I'm sucking my own dick. Nobody's living their lives on that. Because if you sucking your own dick, there's no way you're keeping up with the Joneses, man. Yo, nigga, I have no fucking Joneses, Karens, whatever the fuck you want to name them. I ain't got time for that. God. You see what I'm saying? Because there's so much more I could do with myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? And of course, if I'm not competing with you, why would I hate you? So jealousy and envy, it's not part of my DNA at all. There's no friction. There's no iota of hating me, nigga. See, I wish you would, nigga. I look too good for that. You know what I'm saying? I look too good for that, nigga. I'm too conceited for this bullshit. I refuse. By all means necessary. Come on, man. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? The infrastructure is just fucking you up. Why do you have to be either a fucking Democrat or a fucking Republican? Why can't you be both? And being both, I mean, it should be the way to go because they both have valuable points. Why should I choose one over the other? I mean, I'm gonna go depending on what the situation is, whichever one is best for that circumstance. That's what I'm gonna go with. But ultimately, that's because I'm fucking with both of them. But when you already pick a side, you're neglecting the good side of this shit. You become one-sided. Is that what the conversation is about? It's a bullshit conversation to begin with. It's a bullshit conversation. You already lost before you even started talking about it because the structure is already bullshit. What do you really gonna gain out of it besides being one-sided, or how to be a better one-sided mind? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Now you're bragging about how limited you are. You become an expert at limiting yourself. That couldn't be me because for me, shit, I'm on both sides and I'm on no side. Obviously, because I'm on both sides, I'm in no side. Because now, hey, wisdom is wisdom, regardless of where it comes from. What are we doing? So just to have that conversation already, you already like, all right. Hey, all right. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So now, going back to, again, for you to become mentally and emotionally balanced, it's the only way for you to become Christ-like. And when we're talking about being Christ-like, what that is a representation of, it's anyone who has attained that level of consciousness. And for you to attain that level of consciousness, to see things on a bigger scale or to become the better or the greater or to develop your inner vision, because that's what truly this shit is all about. Because you don't truly see with these eyes, you see with your inner sight, right? Because when we're looking at other people, it's not what they look like that tells us who they are. I mean, yes, that's part of them too. Boo hoo. I mean, we're not neglecting that. We're not saying fuck that. Yeah, that's part of them too. But to truly know somebody is to know their character. That little mind of theirs. Who is that motherfucker? Oh, who's that bitch? So again, only if you understand that alone, again, this is all comes down to our essence. This is all spirituality. The life we're living in, this very fucking life, yes, this life here you are a spiritual being. Now, what you're doing in this life is for you to reconnect. That's why you have a lot of the well, let's just say the prophets or anybody that came down, or including myself, to help you to remember who you are, for you to know the truth about you. Oh man, I was so connected today, but this is random. Man, I was tapping into some shit, man. It was just a whole other level. And as I just mentioned that, I remember. But anyway, mm, mm, mm. So essentially, as a spiritual healer, that's what I do. Now, if you're coming back, you already know, baby. You know what it is. You know what we do. 45 minutes in. Oh, shit. I mean, I'm feeling the vibe. Can I say? You know what I'm saying? We're just going to roll with the punches, right? We're just going to roll with the punches here. Punches here. You're coming back, you already know it's a Holy Communion. This is your home. You know what we do here. Come get your medicine. I got it here for you, baby. So, anyway, nothing but love. You already know. Now, if this is your first time here, guys, pretty much in a nutshell, as a spiritual healer, and I told you how I do what I do. Obviously, spirituality is the foundation of this conversation here. And as you can see, even in me talking about being emotionally balanced and mentally balanced, and even to get into our mental already, I'm showing you things about you that goes deep, that is not on surface value, or that does not just on the surface. So when you're dealing with spirituality, you're dealing with spirit, the story of spirit. In essence, you're dealing with us. You're dealing with yourself, and you having a deeper understanding of this reality here. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard, if a man want to change his life, well, change your thinking. Well, what the fuck does that say about you? What is or who is that thinking aspect of you? And when you change your mind, when you change your thinking, the things around you change. When you change your thinking, if there was something, certain things you used to be mad at, now you're no longer mad at them anymore. You change your environment. That's manifesting too. Oh, this is all when we're talking about the law of manifestation. This is all manifestation because you are the creator. Come on now. I need you to keep up with me. Listen, I'm vouching. I'll give it to you a way it's never been given to you before. Come on, man. We're making history here, baby. This is recorded. Everything we do goes. Listen, this is for centuries. This is for the centuries, man. You know what I'm saying? When you in touch with that understanding, listen, and then now you understand what was also being said, and then now you understand. I understand rather, what has to be said and how it has to be said. Namaste, man. To the great listeners, I salute you. You know what I mean? This is for you. So now again, because when we're dealing with spirituality, our essence, that's why this knowing the truth will set you free. Our essence in itself will set you free. That's why knowing the truth, it will automatically set you free. You automatically, by knowing who you are adopting that Godhead mentality. You're seeing the divinity in you. Now, the science or the knowledge that deals with that type of understanding in spirituality is called the occult or mysticism, however the fuck you want to call it. It goes by so many different names. There's sacred text. Um, the Hermetics. I mean, one thing for sure, you always see, there's some sort of, like the Gnostics talking about knowing, there's always something hidden about it. But not hidden in the sense of it's being kept away from you where you don't have access to it. But what this is saying is this type of understanding, or even when we're talking about esoteric knowledge, you gotta go deeper. You gotta go beyond the physical, as you are more than just your physical. So again, the occult is not refuting your physical aspect neither. In fact, I mean, I know there's some sort of spirituality out there that somehow, just like I was talking about, that's one-sided. You know what I'm saying? You never heard the idea for you to truly be in connection with God, you have to suppress the flesh, or your flesh is weak, all that kind of bullshit. Again, that's a recipe for disaster. Those are your motherfuckers who's fucking, you know what I'm saying? And this is not being judgmental. I'm just reporting the facts. Because whenever you don't deal with your emotions, it will manifest itself some way or another. And most importantly, it's going to reflect in a way that you didn't want, or you weren't trying to express it. But because now your shadow has taken over you. So that's what you see. Even when you see someone's being egotistical, a lot of us would say, yeah, that's the ego. Yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. But the ego's not doing this in itself for itself. Your ego is there to protect you. Your ego only goes as far as you go. So therefore, if you are insecure, motherfucker, you're gonna have the loudest ego. So the ego is not the issue here. Because that same motherfucker who used to be insecure, or maybe choose not to be insecure anymore, guess what's gonna take? Guess how its ego is going to behave? That's why when it comes to the ego, a lot of that has to do. It's not necessarily the ego, but it's what type of information that you are giving to yourself. If you're the type of motherfucker, you better than everybody else. Nobody else matches you, not because of anything, but just because. You know what I'm saying? Or you don't need nobody, your money's everything. Whatever the fuck you saying to yourself. Guess how your ego's going to react, man? And take that same motherfucker, take out that bullshit information that he has, and replace that with some valuable, what I'm saying, life, allow him to eat from the tree of life. His whole conversation, behavior changes. So again, this is us creating our reality. You are the manifester, best believe. You're manifesting every day. You never was conscious of it. So now, as you're learning a little bit more about the law of manifestation, but you only learn from it from one perspective, which is, just a small part of it, to be honest, because now you're trying to, think about positivity, but it's going to be hard for you if you're not positive. How do you not positive and trying to think positively? That's like you saying you want to think critically, but you're not being critical. If beauty is in the eye of the beholder, oh, that's the transformation that has to take place. You gotta become beautiful to see beauty, baby. So you can only see shit as you are. That's when I was talking about that dog who bit you, you became that. That's the level of consciousness that you are stuck in. But for you to be in touch now, you're gonna have to adopt that God. I mean, you gotta adopt the Godhead mentality, and that's why low key we created God for us. Create my God for me because I understand I have to explore that death in me. But anyway, that's a different conversation. That's for the elders. You gotta sit among the elders for this one. And believe me, that type of conversation has nothing to do with, let's just say, being arrogant or nah. I mean, it's just it's the connection. But most importantly, you understanding you. That's why we need superheroes, man. What do you think Jesus is to these motherfuckers? Or not just these motherfuckers, to me too. The only difference is I became Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You got to become that superhero again. Through the pure, all is pure. That's the science behind the cauldron. I mean, the cauldron, right? I mean, it's that glass. Or when we talk about the Holy Grail too, you have to become that. The words got to be made flesh. Oh my God. Anyway, that was in the house. If you get it, you get it. Listen, man, that was for you, whoever the fuck you are. Anyway, now let's delve into spirituality. Yeah, let me go ahead and wrap it up real quick. Again, it's your regular life. Then now you have the occult dealing with those understanding, those sacred texts, those esoteric meaning. And if you ever heard about anything esoteric, it's simply telling you, it's a deeper understanding to what it looks like. Just like when I say I suck my own dick, obviously it's not, well, I don't know. I mean, for me so far, it has not been physically um accessible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if anybody have done it physically yet, let me know. But it's profane, but there's wisdom hiding behind it, and that wisdom pretty much is telling you me being in alignment with me, and other aspect of me. Now, if you want to look at it from a pleasurism perspective, that's in it too. It's just being in touch with me, all of me, sucking that good old dick. My shit. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, it's that way, nigga. I don't give a fuck. But again, the esoteric knowledge, that's that type of shit that you cannot be taken literal. And even if you were to take it literal, it's not. It's crazy. Just like if you understand, if you think a virgin gave birth, you crazy. You crazy. In fact, that's why, what I'm saying, it was important for them to let you know it's a virgin dog. It was to emphasize for you to go a little bit beyond the physical. Let's just say somehow you kind of fumbled the ball. Because I just don't believe you guys think it is true. You can figure all you want, nigga. But anyway, I don't know. Part of me is like, nigga, come on, man. Come on. It's not even that. That's why I tell people too, even if you want to look at Jesus from a fucking historical perspective, shit, I don't even have to go that far. When you're talking about, let's just say, Mo Muhammad Ali, who the fuck was he? Yes, he was a champ, he existed, but what really make him who the fuck he was? It was what he stood for. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? So even let's just say you want to talk about anybody. I mean, at the end of the day, it's gonna be an idea that you were talking about. It's gonna be a spirit, a state of mind, a level of consciousness. What we're calling stars or celebrities, there's a shyness to them. I know all about that. Am I radiating out there? Mayday, Mayday! I heard you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me out there? You owe it to yourself. Please let me know. I'm here to the rescue. You feel me? But anyway, what the fuck was I talking about? So going back to, I mean, again, knowing our essence is mysterious in itself. No wonder why scientists they still studying us, man. Y'all studying us. Your body, how it works. Like we are even a mystery to our own fucking self. So how I don't know. How can we even devalue that? Anyway, anyway. But going back to the whole conversation here again, you know, there's no win. Even if you want to say he did exist or he did not exist, that don't even doesn't even matter. You see what I'm saying? Because if you understand, look, okay, I mean, does it matter if Santa Claus does not exist? But I mean, I surely enjoy it. And here's something else that's not even, what I'm saying? They all did the same thing. This fat motherfucker go through a chimney. Again, there's a whole fucking going on. The Virgin again. Do you see what's taking place here? It's got to be that way, and that's the attraction too. That's the mystery of it. A virgin who gave birth. How the fuck did that happen? A fat motherfucker who's looking for cookies, who's gonna go through your chimneys. Do you have any chimney, nigga? Do you, motherfucker? Let me know. But somehow, ho. The bottom line is, yo, it explore an aspect of us. So as you becoming more conscious of the true creator that you are, that conversation, that's the conversation that takes place among the elders. Now this is when, what I'm saying, we're no longer talking as a little boy right here. Until you truly know who you are. I mean, you're not even in the league. Like you know what I'm saying? All right, keep going, baby. And that's where too. Once you attain that level of consciousness too, the ancestors, everybody, the whole cosmic, or listen, these niggas are waiting on you. They're like, come on, baby, we're here. You know what I'm saying? They're giving you clues, they helping you out because they want you to get on that certain level. Then the connection is gonna be on a whole different level. And even you having the capacity to be more receptive to them too, it's gonna get strong. Ah, listen. Whew. Another way of saying this, we call it ascension. Yo, I'm gonna have to make a part two of that shit. It's already an hour. The fuck, and the conversation is good. Well, at least on my part. That's how I feel. So I don't want to jump into that conversation. But anyway, so again, your nature, it just come on, man. Knowing that will automatically set you free, but also knowing your nature, like how do you go like spirituality? I mean, we only feel like spirituality is outside of us, out of ignorance. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it's just okay, just another ignorant one. I mean, there's nothing superficial that I'm talking about. It ain't like I'm talking about fucking aliens and shit. Although some motherfuckers talk about it too. Cool. I mean, hey. But what I'm talking about here, the only thing I would tell these niggas, I mean, can we deal with us first? Let's deal with us first. Oh, before you get to those aliens and all these things, you know what I'm saying? The Anunnakis, the Zuzupakis, the Enlil, the all that thing. That's good. That's good. Can we get to us first? Because I feel like there's some shit about us, like unless if you think, oh, okay, okay. So okay, let's go there. So unless you're saying to yourself, there's a key there that would allow us to unlock who we truly are. So again, those would be your gods, right? And somehow you knowing whatever the fuck you're gonna know or whatever that is gonna have to unlock some shit on you. Again, you if you want to be conscious about it, however the fuck you want to, Enlil, Enki, Anunnakis, Osiris, what's the difference? Dumbala, Papalikba, what's the fucking difference? You tell me, nigga. But if you know, you know. And this is not to say none of it take place on the fucking outside, or this is just us, like none of that happened. Nah. What I'm saying is, hey, we are part of that too. In fact, when we talk about the three body of consciousness, oh shit, I'm going in. All right, all right. Let me rewind the selector. When we talking about mind, body, and soul, nigga, this is you. This is you in different plane already. There's a connection that I have with my body. There is a connection that I have with my individual self, dealing with my character, my train of thinking. And there's also another part of me dealing with the atmosphere, dealing with the cosmic, the universe, the outside of me. I'm connected to all of those different planes. Are you not? Well, if you're not, well, that's when becoming in alignment would be. But if you're not 100% in harmony with it, but you are in touch with all of them, and that's your Holy Ghost, nigga. That's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. However the fuck you want to call it. So again, our essence in itself, it's what I'm saying, it's crazy. Not crazy bad, but it's mysterious. That's what I meant to say. It's mysterious, man. So again, whichever route you choose to go, at the end of the day, like I always tell people, you're gonna have to agree to some shit. And whichever one you choose to agree with, you are being part of that, whatever the fuck that is, consciously or unconsciously. I mean, for me, and me understanding this, then I'm saying to myself, I'd rather do this shit consciously, nigga. How about as well shit? I might as well enjoy this shit. If I'm gonna choose a god, I gotta make the god work for me then. But that comes with the self realization. That's you understanding that you are your manifester. This is you understanding all of that shit. But the ascension part of it, the inner vision you have to go through, the you know what I'm saying, the esoteric or the hidden side that you got to go inwardly, the journey you got to go through inwardly. I mean, that's what we're talking. That's your inner vision. This is part of the transformation. Because remember, when you change your mind, as you enhancing your consciousness, you are changing what's around you at the same time. I'm not saying, let's just say, if this house was white, then you change your consciousness and then it doesn't look white anymore. No, what I'm saying is it was white, your interpretation of what white is. When you change your mind, then now you have a different interpretation of you looking at this white wall now. Then you also understand your reality, nigga. It's never what it was, it's how you always look at it. I have my son, he's into Spider-Man. We share the same space and time. This little motherfucker standing next to me, and then he's talking about Spider-Man, or he's looking at some shit that I'm also looking at, but I have a better insight than him. Or he sees that, but I have a better insight, a better vision. And as he gets older, get to see reality better, becoming more conscious of what? This regular shit. You are a spiritual being having a fucking human experience, nigga. Now, out of ignorance, a lot of us don't fucking recognize that. You. That's all that shit is. So, spirituality, bam, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Your motherfucking ass. Then on the flip side of it, not even the flip side, but another part of that, which is just the same as that is, you're dealing with the occult. You're dealing with the sacred texts. You're dealing with the Kybalion, the Hermetic, the fucking whatever the fuck, the Tahudis, the Tibetan Buddhism, all of those different shit. Hinduism, whatever the fuck, voodoo, all that shit's talking about the same shit, just in different languages. And when I say languages, not necessarily, yes, on all different level of languages. You know what I'm saying? Now, here's something else. Due to lack of understanding or due to ignorance, when people look at voodoo, right, you always only see, what I'm saying, your interpretation of it is spells. It's that kind of bullshit. Whereas voodoo has, I mean, that's part of it. That's a small part of it. You're looking at like the smallest part of it, and then you're making it the big part of it out of ignorance. Meanwhile, if you were to learn anything about voodoo, it's life. It's the universe. It's nature. It's you. It's me. How is that different from the fucking monks talking about the universe or whatever the fuck? Again, it's a matter of, how much do you know about you? So a lot of these different systems, again, the agenda is for you to get a deeper understanding of who you are. That's why in voodoo we say you are all energy because they dealing with your true essence. Do you see what I'm trying to tell you? It's the same difference. And of course, with that perspective comes a way of life. That's why they would also teach you in voodoo, it's also culture, the occult, that hidden culture. That's what the hidden culture is, nigga. Because that's the hidden part of you, you know what I'm saying, and understanding how that works. And that's the part of you you have to acknowledge. This is you dealing with your subconscious mind. This is you dealing with all different aspects of the non-physical aspect of yourself. It's you. So now, for you to adopt a Godhead mentality, obviously, as I've been talking about it now, you got to understand your essence. And anytime you don't understand your essence, you are ignorant. That's what ignorant is. Period. You don't know who you are. You're ignorant, dog. And out of your ignorance, well, you created a whole different world. If you know anything about the Gnostics, that's what they were talking about. When Sophia, that represents knowledge, see, that's why you have to understand the mythology too. And then she went on to create Earth without consulting with the highest God, whatever the fuck. So that's why you have two sides of knowledge. You have a knowledge that kills you, and then you also have a knowledge that sets you free. In fact, to enslave you, that's the knowledge that kills you. It's still understanding. And then now, out of a slave mentality, now you have a slavery knowledge. Your knowledge is putting you in a box instead of setting you free because it's based out of ignorance. This is for the great listeners, right? So again, going back to adopting that Godhead perspective, I mean, again, the self. That's the journey. That's the journey. That's that self realization. That's what's called realization. And every truth and consciousness, you have to wake up to it. It's already around you. There's nothing I'm telling you now that was not said before. I mean, of course, I mean, I add my twist to it. I mean, listen, I find mine, so I'm gonna give it to you my way. But I understood what Jesus was saying. I understood whoever the fuck was talking. Because again, the idea is for you to take over. You know what I'm saying? If you think like him, you're gonna act like him. The same idea. You think money's everything? Well, you do anything for money, man. Come on. There's no way you're gonna have integrity and thinking money's everything. It doesn't work that way. That's how you are creating your reality. Again, I have to emphasize on that for you. If you didn't get anything else, I hope you just get that one. Then everything will all make sense when you hear a lot of people are saying, well, you want to change your life, change your thoughts. Like we are throwing all those shit around us, living in this reality that we're pretending not to be spiritual or we're not spirit, but yet in all of our languages, it's being reflected. But we're not in touch with ourselves out of ignorance. Now motherfuckers are talking about law of fucking attraction, whatever the fuck, law of manifestation. Boo hoo, motherfucker. That's you. That's your essence. And guess what? You were already doing that. And that's the same thing with the secret. The secret was no fucking secret. And that's what they had a huge fucking and that's the power of true marketing too. It's to give like that's exactly what Steve Harvey did. Think like a man, act like a lady. It didn't become a national seller because he didn't give them what they were looking for. These motherfuckers were already niggas. They were just waiting for somebody to say it. Oh shit, that's how everybody relate to it. That's what you call the collective consciousness. That's how for me, I could peep out, I could see what's taking place out there. I'm teaching you how to look at the matrix, look at the dots. And again, you're dealing with minds here, state of mind. So when you talk about the secret, I'll give you one of the things that they say, you know, like you probably you ever notice that you didn't see some shit and then when you see it for the first time and then now you see it over and over again, you are already doing that. So when they talk about it, you're like, oh shit, now what you were already doing, you didn't have an explanation for it. That's why even the movie The First Matrix was very successful because you already knew what it was. Like I always tell niggas, unfortunately, the best Matrix is actually the second one. If you fall for the first one, most likely you're not quite up there. But I get it. I get the hype. I get the hype. And of course, just like spirituality is becoming now, and I already talked about this shit, this whole social political bullshit. It's like it's becoming a masturbation debate to talk about is this world a real world? Now let's sit down and talk about now you're making it a fucking intellectual debate. You missed the whole point. Jerking off. Jerking off, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit. I get mine too, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no hater. And you know, there's a lot fulfilling in that though. You know what I'm saying? To me, you're wasting your time, nigga. What do you really truly get out of it? You go get the book, Think Like a Man. No, what is it? Think like a lady, act like a man. Whatever the fuck. What was it? No, wait. Think like a man, but act like a lady. Whatever the fuck that shit was, right? So you went, you already know it. So now you're looking for what you already know. You know what I'm saying? Even when we talk about fast food and the great marketers, that they understand that too. That's how they understand. You know, it's not. what I'm gonna force on you. That's why even with the music industry, the niggas is telling you, yo, man, I don't give a fuck about what's new. This is a business. Give the people what they want. Right? Would you buy something that you don't want, motherfucker? I don't think so neither. So Steve Harvey, the secret, they were successful in telling you or giving you the shit that you already know, and then everybody reacted to it. Yeah, and then bestseller. Shit, I'm a speaker myself. I study the game tapes. Eh, you know what I'm saying? But you got to understand the science of ignorance too, though. You know what I'm saying? This here is gonna speak for itself. Listen, this is the shit you got to wake up to. It's in front of you, but you can't grasp it until you look beyond it. In due time, baby. This recorded is for you. You can rewind this however you like. It's out there. I'm saying, don't be too hard. Certain things you may get, other things you may not get. That's all it is. It's state of mind for everything. You hear me? So adopting that Godhead mentality, man. Another way of looking at that too, and I'm gonna close out on that, and I'm gonna make that part two. We're gonna close on this though, real quick. Is to understand. It's to see things on a bigger scale. You hear it all the time. Not to look at man's way and God's way is not the same. But what is it about God's way that makes it God's way, right? It's trial and tribulation. It sounds like whatever you call God or that God way, it comes with a little bit of pain. It comes with growth. It comes also with having faith, meaning looking at shit beyond what they look like. I mean, if anything, I would have to say, I mean, that's part of your essence. Because even your essence, you are more than what you appear to be. And if that's the case, and now if that's the case, and that's where we're going to open up the conversation from, on part two, w- you know, what are we really talking about here? I mean, a part of it has to do with our essence, but also what we're also talking about is when you say God's way, it's having a deeper well, or a more profound understanding of what things appear to be. If you asking for God to, what I'm saying, to make you see things better, well, guess what he's gonna do? He's gonna give you problem for you to solve. Because the best way you're gonna learn is out of those circumstances. I mean, you wanted to see. Well, now, nigga, you can see. And that sight he's gonna give you is gonna come with you know, you gotta go through, you gotta see beyond the veil. And that elevation has to do with now you have to start looking at things from a different perspective. Meaning, if you're looking at this white wall, if it was pain, then now our interpretation of pain, because if I'm gonna grow out of pain, then now is pain truly as I was looking at it, or should I have a different perspective of what pain is? Because when I go to the gym, I know I'm looking to get bulk. I know I got to put the work in. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm looking forward to. In fact, I'm writing shit down. I'm hoping to get stronger, and then I'm gonna tell everybody, yo, I bench that shit, nigga. Listen, again, this is all the same. That's why sport, you could elevate from sport. When Michael Jordan was telling you he learns discipline, listen, you can elevate from everything. Again, you are a living mind. What you calling your true reality, the purpose is for you to learn, is it not? If you live in this life, you're making dumb, stupid mistakes, you're not learning from it again. What the fuck are you doing? Get a God, nigga. Let me give you a God. Maybe your God will help you to see things better. Let that sink in. Well, if you're a great creator, if you understand how your minds work, again, that's why God needs men and men needs God. I hope I'm not fucking you up, man. Although this was meant to fuck you up too. So, it is what it is. It's what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it here, guys. Listen, it's like an hour and a half. Part two, I'm gonna work on that tomorrow. It's coming up soon. I won't lie to you because I got some shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. Listen, nothing but blessings, King. Nothing but blessings, man. Listen. And before I roll out, I want to thank all my ancestors for everything. You know, the journey, everything that is being shown to me, from the protection, from them being my eyes when I didn't see shit. Because I'm truly moving like the blind man reading the scripture here. And listen, man, and that experience in itself is worth more than anything to me. So I'm forever gonna be grateful. I love these motherfuckers. Y'all know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Certain names I cannot call, but I've been in touch with. And even my grandmother, too, my real grandmother. You know what I'm saying? Listen, there's some shit I can't speak yet. It's a little too much for me right now. You know what I'm saying? My real grandmother, man, the connection. And you know, and listen. And she told me too, man, listen, man, you know, there's been some disrespect that took place. Oh, it's being dealt with. They haven't seen shit yet. Mm. What I see for you, motherfuckers. Woo-wee. Listen. Oh, y'all fuck with the right one. Listen, man, I'm enjoying this. Never thought in my fucking life so far I would be having the listen the moment of my life. Listen, I have my arm and my leg crossed. I'm in my throne. Listen, man, I'm coming out, baby. Tell them, man. Listen, sooner or later, baby. Sooner or later, you won't even know. When I do though, when I aim, I never miss. Always remember, man. I gotta let you guys go, but always remember the remedy of the pain is in the pain. For you to be you, no one else could be around. And don't worry about death, man. Because when death is around, you're not around, nigga. Because you're alive. And when you living, death is not around. You know what I'm saying? Let the dead bury the dead, man. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? And most importantly, man, listen, man, if you think money's everything, you'll do anything for it. You know what I'm saying? Be the creator, understand your position. You feel me? So anyway, we're gonna live it here. I shan't. My leg, niggas.